Fire Emblem is an underrated Nintendo IP. So underrated, I might add, that I legit only knew about it because of the Smash Bros characters and them annoying Marth players. Meaning, I know this video probably has a niche audience, so go ahead and hit that like button, don't be neglectful. But anyways, after getting packed up and sent back to the lobby by Croms, Marths, etc, I was like, shoot, what is this game? Only to find out they got like 20 plus games in the IP. Like, how have I not encountered any of these games? Like, what the heck? The Fire Emblem games I've played since the Discovery consist of Fire Emblem Three Houses, Fire Emblem Birthright, Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Engage, and Fire Emblem Echoes. Now that's 5 games, and you may be thinking, shoot Zeltic, you might be a Fire Emblem fan. 5 games is a lot. And to that I say, no. Out of those 5, I've only beaten Awakening, Birthright, and the Golden Deer route in Three Houses, which is considered to be the least lore heavy. And not only that, Fire Emblem is probably the deepest franchise I've ever tried to get into because of all the layers. It's dead ass like peeling back oranges. First you got the characters. There's so many characters in these games, it's actually hard to keep up with. They are all really flushed out with backstories for days, with supports giving each character a special interaction with each other, revealing dark secrets or, in most cases, just how weird they are under their military facades. The fans of this franchise love this aspect of the games, and I do too, as I love games that have great characters and actually build them up really well. But at the same time, with the sheer amount of characters in this game, unless you replay, which I tend not to since I have a Bible level backlog, you will end up completing this game not remembering any of the characters unless they were your favorites. For example, peeping into Three Houses, I love the Golden Deer and their personalities, but the main ones, and really the only ones that I remember, was Lucidia, Clyde of course, and Hilda. Lucidia I was intrigued with because of how powerful she was on the battlefield, straight up nuking everyone off the map by herself. And then you come to find out, she's literally dying from a rare genetic disease, which is why her hair is white, so no wonder why she was fighting like her life depended on it. Any day could have been her last. Hilda because she was ridiculously powerful, getting crits all the time, but for some reason always tries to get out of fighting in all her supports, directly contrasting what she was capable of. And Clyde because bro is just cool, but he uses this cool personality to hide the fact that he's actually really smart and clever, being steps ahead of all his peers at all times. These characters have deep layers, and there's many more characters with even more layers to them. And the difference between me and Fire Emblem fans is that they can state everything about these characters. The lore, which characters are compatible, every plot twist, etc. And it's amazing how much you can pack into one of these games. Each character has Bible levels of lore, and it can be very overwhelming. My small brain can't comprehend that the person I killed on the battlefield could have actually been a recruitment for me, and might have held the keys to be my favorite character. But all because I didn't know that I could have recruited them on a rainy Saturday evening at exactly 2:32 p.m. I lost my chance, and now we're enemies. And yes, the recruitments for these characters sometimes be that specific. These games reward people for going inward and actually taking time to learn the game, which in itself is a skill. And part of me wishes I had more time to focus on that aspect. I'd like to also briefly mention the story. Most of these games I low-key forget the main premise, mainly due to them blending into each other a lot of the times. There's usually some tyrant king to overthrow, or a god pulling the strings. And the whole time, I'm more invested in a side character story that we barely see. But if I had to pick a game with the best story that I've played so far out of the Fire Emblems I provided y'all, it's probably gotta be Birthright. A lot of people shit on this one, and then Glaze Conquest, which I haven't gotten around to playing. But I thought the story of Birthright was actually fire. A story about where you were born and who your real family is actually really unique, and I feel like I could relate to it to my own life. That and Corrin is actually just a dope character in Fire Emblem and in Smash. Now the next thing I gotta talk about is the battles. The amount of layers that the battles in this game have is actually insane. I got into this game thinking it was just a top-down turn-based game, and on the surface, it literally just is. But when I posted my Fire Emblem videos on my old channel, I was flooded with comments saying, forge this for this character, promote this character to this class, drop this character and invest one into another one. And my head was finna explode. Most Fire Emblem games you can actually get by just by abusing your broken main character. But if you want to play harder difficulties, especially maddening, you're actually going to need to come prepared. Knowing what each character can do is key. Maybe have a character with melee and a bow for ranged attacks, or be more selective over who's a ground unit and a flying unit. I ignored the hell out of this when I played, but severely paid for it in the harder to late game missions. I'm looking at you, Camilla. I still hate your guts. You in that hard ass sewer mission took me hours straight up. And another thing is, these games are not made the same. For example, my first Fire Emblem game was Three Houses like a lot of people. Then I went to Awakening just to find out nothing I learned in Three Houses was relevant. Of course the main core mechanics are the same, but the way the characters grow and stats are completely different. With each entry you kinda gotta relearn things, and it honestly keeps you engaged. But at the same time, it creates this feeling where you never fully grasp each game unless you replay or invest real time in it. which I'm not complaining about. It's cool, because as I mentioned before, it rewards players that take the time and actually want to get deep into the franchise. But for a casual player, it can throw you a loop. The entries I was most interested in are definitely the 3DS remakes and titles. All the characters are likable, and it's easy to get into even for casual players. And I mean, shoot, they even have characters so OP that you don't even have to think, like Donald. Bro was really running shit at the end of Awakening. And he's a farmer boy with a pot on his head. But he really came out there and was like, I need my respect. Something else that makes Fire Emblem stick out even more, even if you're not that in depth with it, is the death system. Regardless of what difficulty you're on, you can choose the option to make your units permanently die on the battlefield, which means no more using them in battle, no more supports. It's kind of like they don't exist. I mean, they did die. And I always choose this because it makes you play the game on your toes. Now, if you're anything like me, you will probably just restart the mission if someone dies. Because I mean, I can't be having my best units dying on me. But this also adds more fun gameplay, knowing in the back of your head that if someone dies, you gotta restart the whole mission. Some parts of the game would really have me pulling my eyeballs out due to how many times I would have to restart. With that being said, Fire Emblem is great, and I'm gonna keep playing more. I just saw the trailer for Fire Emblem's Fortune Weave, and I may end up playing it. I know the community is kinda in an identity crisis with Engage not doing so hot, mainly due to his artistic choice. And honestly, I'd have to agree. Engage really felt like a fan-made Fire Emblem game, and I understand the games wanting not to look the same as the other, but I just feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We all can agree Three Houses probably had the best art direction for the Switch games, and I feel like they should have just kept going with it. And Fortune Weave kinda seems like a blend of Engage and Three Houses, so I'm actually kinda curious how they go about it. But let me know your thoughts on Fire Emblem and how you got into the series. Drop a like and let me know what you want to see next. Love y'all. I'm out.